Welcome to Richmond, Virginia for round number 4 of the Crooked Line Racing Monday Madness Super Late Model Series. We are here at a 3/4 mile oval that is kind of in between a big track and a small track. A lot of these short tracks that these guys are running are half a mile or even shorter sometimes. This is a 3/4 mile track, so it's probably one of the longer ones that they're going to be running on in this series. And we're looking at tonight doing a 125 laps around this track. We have one fast repair at our disposal, meaning that they have an instant repair during the race, one time only. If they sustain more damage than that, they're going to have to deal with it. We also have a rule in this series that they are only allowed to use 2 sets of tires during the race, which makes for drivers having to manage their tires. We've seen plenty of guys in this series that did the whole thing on one tire set, so it's not impossible to finish the race without making a pit stop. The fuel, I'm fairly sure that they're going to have to stop for fuel. I'm not exactly sure what the window is, but I doubt that they can do the entire 125 in one fuel stint. I'm fairly sure they're going to have to make at least one stop. All right, so let's take a quick look at your point standings in the championship after 3 rounds. Tonight we're going to start round number 4. After 3 rounds, we have Dustin Mumberget in the leading position, only by 2 points, followed by Jason Tarasenko. And as we look at the practice results right here, that brings us to the situation where Mumberget is on top of the list as far as practice times is concerned, and Jason Tarasenko down in 11th. So obviously that doesn't mean everything, but it kind of is an early indication that Tarasenko might be struggling on this track a little bit more than Dustin. Then in third position, we have Joshua Sexton with 114 points, followed closely by Tyler Johnson, who moved himself up into fourth place. Scotty Stevens is fifth with 99. Bill Gross has 96 points. Brown 83, Marr 81, Ryan Bean 76, and Mark Young 74 points. So that is our starting position in the championship as we are headed in tonight's race, with our favorite Mumberget and Tarasenko up top of the charts. And it looks like Sexton and Johnson are have been doing performing very strongly in the past race and in the race before that, so we might see some fireworks around here tonight. So let's take another quick look at the timing sheet as the practice session is coming to a close, and we'll be going into a 5-minute qualifying session. It is Mumberget up top on the list, and we have 13 drivers here tonight that have entered this race. So a fairly good field here tonight, and most of the names that we've seen before in this series are all here. I really don't see any new names here tonight. Chris Nordington was here last week in the number 1 car, and I believe Kevin Roy has been here before, so as far as I can remember, there are no new drivers here tonight. We are missing a few drivers that are regulars in this series. Currently still missing James McClellan, and let's see, haven't seen Scott Drost. So it obviously not everybody can be here every week, and that's okay as long as we're having fun. That's the only thing that matters. All right, so we're going to bring it into qualifying for you. The first car that we see coming out is Mark Young in the number 55 Recar paint scheme. And we can quickly give you, as the drivers are getting warmed up here for qualifying, we'll show you a little bit of information on the car that we're running here tonight, the super late model in this series, a 358 cubic inch cast iron V8 block that produces about 550 horsepower. It's a 4-speed manual. Excuse me, and the top speed on this car is about 190 miles an hour. That is not something they're going to make here tonight. The track is too short for that. The top speed runs right around 140 miles an hour, and the speeds in the turns, I believe, should be somewhere around 110, 115 miles an hour. So we see Mark Young currently the first driver that is posting a lap time with a 20.983. And he's just been overtaken by Chris Northington in the number 1 car. And Chris has only done 1 lap, and they're kind of not maybe aware of the fact that they have 2 laps to do this in. So he is already satisfied with what he's got, but maybe a little bit too early because Joshua Sexton has lowered that time to 20.643 and put himself on the provisional pole. And we are awaiting the championship leader Dustin Mumberget to come out in the number 16 car. We have Brian Metler is on here on track. He has posted 2 lap times and improved his time to 20.855. That currently puts him in the 4th position. All right, we are also awaiting Jason Tarasenko, Tyler Johnson. Tanner Marr is now out there in the number 4 car, and he has posted the 4th time at 20.835, takes away that 4th position from Brandon Metler. And we now have Jason Tarasenko coming on the track as well, and Tanner did not improve on his lap time, so let's quickly jump over to Jason Tarasenko in that number 21 car. As said, he was in 11th place. Ooh, and there he makes a mistake on his first lap. I don't believe he hits anything, but let's see if we can bring it back out again. He can't wait all that long. And meanwhile, we have Tyler Johnson, our 4th positioned championship driver. He has pushed himself into the 3rd spot. Let's see if he can improve that on his final lap here. No, he cannot. Oh, it's pretty close. And then we have Jason Tarasenko back out on track. We have Dustin Mumberget coming out to play as well. These guys have waited till the last minute to get their times in. And there is something to say for that, because the other drivers will rubber in the track a little bit for you. Although with 13 drivers, it may not make a whole lot of difference. It might help. And we actually see Jason Tarasenko put in a very good time here, 20.582. That puts him on the provisional pole. So let's see what Dustin can do here. He is going to be posting his first lap time right now, and right away, Dustin only needs 1 lap. He puts it on the provisional pole. 20.546. That is a pretty good time. And it just amazes me how he gets it done. Every time we see him out here, he is just blazingly fast. And I looked him up on the iRacing information, and this guy has got a iRating of over 6,000. So this is a driver that definitely knows what he's doing. We still have Russell Brown on track, the final car. Let's see if he has posted a time just yet. No, not yet. And he's going to have to hurry, because these 5 minutes are pretty strict on iRacing. They don't get any extra time allotted. 5 minutes is 5 minutes. And he does bring it around. And he puts himself, there you have it, it's all already over. He puts himself on the 10th position. And that leaves us to go and check out the grid, as the drivers will be coming on there fairly shortly. Let's see if they're already there. Yeah, they're starting to line them up. On pole, we have Dustin Mumberget, as said, our Canadian friend. Alongside him, his countryman, Jason Tarasenko. On the second row, we have Joshua Sengton and Chris Northington. Then we have Tyler Johnson and Kevin Roy. Also a Canadian Kevin. And then we have Tanner Marr and Brandon Metler. On the 4th row and on the 5th row, we have Scotty Stevens and Russell Brown Jr. On the 6th row, we have Canadian Mark Young and Yvonne Wall. And Lauren Arfman should be on the 13th position, but I have not seen Lauren set a time, I don't believe. We can double check that. Yeah, he did post a time, so he should be gridding up here shortly. And we have Dustin Mumberget on pole position here. And all drivers have gridded up. Lauren Arfman is there as well. So we are getting ready to start this thing here tonight. 125 laps in Richmond, Virginia, 3/4 of a mile. Let's quickly bring up some race information for you. We have an ambient temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit. We're racing under the lights. The temperature of the track is only 74 degrees. So that is a cool track for the drivers here. That is a good thing for them. It makes the track less greasy and less slippery. We have no winds to speak of and a humidity of 59%. And as you can see, the track length is 0.72 of a mile, 3/4 of a mile. So that's what it is here at Richmond. A D-shaped oval. The start-finish line is not quite in the middle of the main straightaway. It is kind of a little bit further, a little bit before the middle there. So. But other than that, it's kind of in between. It's not a short track, it's not a long track. We see a little bit hesitation here with the lining up. They're getting this sorted out. You see the guys going left and right a little bit to warm their tires up. Chris Northington there in the white #1 car with the monster livery. Now they're getting ready and lined up nicely on the backstretch. Just Dustin Mumberget holding back a little bit, it looks like. And once again, Jason Tarasenko high up in the field, so my worries were unfounded. Let's see what these guys can make of it this time.
Green flag.
There we go. We are racing here in Richmond, Virginia. It is Dustin Mumberget that takes the lead in front of Jason Tarasenko. And it looks like Joshua Sexton is already stealing that 3rd place from Chris Northington on that inside line, with Tyler Johnson right behind him there in the green car, the #5 car. That is Tyler Johnson. Then we see, let's see, the Kevin Roy. That should be number 19, but it's number 89. That's okay. We'll figure that out tonight. Looks like everybody has come through the first few laps here very nicely. Nobody really gaining much or losing much. So Lauren Arfman looks like he picked up 12th position at the cost of Yvonne Wall. And it looks like Chris Northington is diving into 3rd position. Chris is actually posting the quickest lap time here on lap #3. So that kind of tells me that Chris is eager to go and trying to put some pressure on the leaders already, as we see Tarasenko going to the inside of Mumberget for the lead, going into turn 1. He steals that lead away from Dustin. On to the backstretch, Chris Northington already right behind him. The number 51 of Joshua Sexton coming along with these guys. It's a good train of cars with Tyler Johnson, Kevin Roy, and Tanner Marr there also following, and then a little bit more gap to Scotty Stevens. And it looks actually like Jason Tarasenko seems to be pulling away from Dustin Mumberget here a little bit. And if you recall what we said about practice, that is kind of a surprise. And as said, practice times don't mean everything. That's kind of clear right now. Dustin following there. He's got Chris Northington growing in his mirrors and worrying about him. It looks like Kevin Roy was trying to get a little racy there. He is trying to catch up here with the #5 car of Tyler Johnson, and coming underneath into turn 1. Can he stick it in there? It looks like the 89 is picking up the 5th position at the cost of Tyler Johnson. Northington still in third with Sexton right behind him in the 51 car. Jason Tarasenko still leading, and it doesn't look like he can maintain pulling away. He was trying to pull away a little bit, but Dustin is picking up that game again, and it looks like he's got it right there at 0.3 of a second. I would say 2 car lengths. That's pretty much it. Lap 8 of 125 going into lap number 9. Tarasenko still leading. Chris Northington seems to be all over that number 16 car there. Joshua Sexton closing out the top 4. It's a little bit of a gap towards the 8 and 9 of Kevin Roy now. Tyler Johnson having a little bit more trouble keeping up with Roy, and that means that Tanner Marr is seeing his options here. He is taking his chances going to the inside into turn number 1, and he's trying to take the number 2 of Scotty Stevens, and the 00 of Russell Brown are trying to come along with him there. It's not as easy as it looks, obviously, but the 2 is underneath the 5 now as well. So Tyler Johnson seems to be struggling a little bit here. And for the 2, there you go. The Scotty Stevens passes him coming onto the backstretch. They're still side by side. And it looks like the number 5 is kind of caught out there on that high line. The 00 of Russell Brown picks up another position at his cost as well. It looks like they're still side by side going into turn 1 and 2. And once again, coming on the backstretch, it looks like that higher line for the number 5 is not really working all that well. He can't come down because there's just too many cars underneath him. Maybe now he can tug in right behind that 00 and start taking that lower line as well. So meanwhile up front, we see Dustin Mumbercat closing back in on Jason Tarasenko. They have a little bit of a gap towards the number 1 of Chris Northington, about 2 or 3 car lengths, and then Joshua Sexton in 4th. So let's stick here with Tarasenko and Dustin Mumbercat. Let's ride along with Dustin here for just an... Ooh, both of them having a little bit of a wiggle coming onto the backstretch. And on the main straightaway, it looks like these guys are pretty even. The lap times of their last lap were only 0.04 of a second apart. So Mumbercat is really putting the pressure, it looks like, on Jason Tarasenko right now. And Chris Northington having a little bit more trouble keeping up with these guys. These are the 2 leaders in the championships. As you can recall, Mumbercat won race number 1, then it was Tarasenko winning number 2, and Mumbercat number 3, so we're at number 4. If we go by that pattern, it's Tarasenko's turn, but not if Dustin Mumbercat can help it, obviously. He's taken the lead. You saw that on your screen here. He's taken the lead back. And now it is Dustin Mumbercat that is trying to pull away from Tarasenko, while Chris Northington seems to be closing in. Ooh, we have a caution. Let's go and find out what we can see has gone wrong. There you have it. It's the number 2 car of Scotty Stevens that has been touched by Tyler Johnson. And then he gets a little eager going back on his way, spins it back around. It doesn't matter. He's not hitting anything. It looks like he is free of major trouble. Let's bring that back a little bit further. There you have the 5 coming back underneath the number 2. The 5 is Tyler Johnson. The 2, that is Scotty Stevens. And it looks like the 5 just washes up slightly more than he expected and pushes the number 2 around. And then obviously getting back on his way, he's a little too eager there and waits at that last minute to just let everybody go. And it looks like he is going into the pits along with Lauren Arfman and Yvonne Wall. And the other drivers seem to be staying out. We're on lap 19, so it might be a little bit early for tires if you only have 2 sets to play with. I don't believe Scotty sustained any damage in this incident. We do see Yvonne Wall taking tires, at least on the outside. We didn't see Lauren Arfman take tires. And I don't see Scotty take tires either, and it looks like Yvonne Wall has used up that second set of tires that he has for the night, so he may not have been happy with the first set. Tyler Johnson coming into the pits as well, and again, I would be surprised if they really sustained any damage from that little brush they had there together. And let's see if Tyler is going to opt for tires, and as said, they only can change tires once during this race, so if they do it now, they're stuck with what they have. And I do not see any tire change on Tyler Johnson's car. He is probably just taking the fuel, topping it off, and then back on his way. So at the front, it is still Dustin Momberget that runs there in the lead behind the pace car, with Jason Tarasenko right behind him in that number 21 car, and then it's Chris Northington in the number 1 monster car, Joshua Sexton in that Coors Light 51 car. Kevin Roy has worked his way up to 5th position in that 89, and Tanner Marr is 6th. Brandon Mettler in the 015, the blue and black car there, is 7th, and then it is Russell Brown in the 00. He's actually 7th, and the 015 is on the outside. They're lining it up again. We're getting ready to go back to racing, coming into lap 22 here at Richmond, Virginia, round number 4 of the Crooked Line Racing Monday Madness Super Late Model Series. The two favorites in the championship, Dustin Momberget and Jason Tarasenko, leading the pack around the track once again.
Green flag, green flag.
And the guys waited for the radio call, and it looks like Jason Tarasenko is a little bit more awake than Dustin. He picks up the lead, and on the high side, it looks like Joshua Sexton was trying to give the number 1 a hard time, but it looks like Chris Northington holds him off and holds on to that 3rd position. So Tarasenko leading Momberget and Northington, Sexton, Tanner Marr, Kevin Roy. And it looks like everybody's coming away nicely. Tyler Johnson already picking up some positions here as he came out of the pits. As said, I don't believe he's taken those tires yet, but he is doing well. And the one that did take the tires is the 91 of Yvonne Wall, and he is in 12th position, holding off Lauren Arfman. Tarasenko still in the lead. Dustin Momberget following him. Excuse me. And that is looking back at Chris Northington, the 3rd place driver in the number 1 car there. Joshua Sexton is behind him. You can't see him right now. Kind of hidden. There he is, the gray Coors Light car. And once again, it is Tarasenko and Momberget that seem to be setting the pace here. Tarasenko trying to pull out a little bit. We've heard Dustin tell us before that he is kind of a long stint kind of a guy, so he is kind of probably just waiting this out a little bit, making sure he stays with the leader, obviously, but he wants to save those tires for the final part of the race. And right now, being behind the 21, he's probably also saving a little bit of fuel just being in the draft there, although we are not at speeds where the difference is huge. Every little bit can help. As we can see, it is Joshua Sexton that's picked up 3rd position. Chris Northington having a little bit of trouble staying with Dustin. The number 4 of Tanner Marr has passed the 89 of Kevin Roy. He is now in 5th position, and Russell Brown is working his way back forward again in that 00 car. Scotty Stevens, it doesn't look like that incident has hurt him any. He is in 8th position. Tyler Johnson working his way through traffic now, trying to catch up with Brandon Mettler in that 015 car. Chris Northington holding off Tanner Marr. Tanner in the number 4 car trying to come underneath him. And it looks like he's going to make a move into turn 1. There he comes. And he gets to take the 89 with him there. That higher side just doesn't seem to work here at Richmond, Virginia tonight. The 89 also passes Northington, so Northington dropping back from 3rd on the restart to 6th position currently. And a 0-0 of Russell Brown is going to be putting pressure on him as well. Once you're on that high side, you need to make sure you get yourself down again because it doesn't seem to work. Meanwhile, we see Dustin Mumberget go around or going underneath the 21. Let's bring that back for you real quick. They're into turn 1. It looks like the 21 is staying high. Not sure if he's doing that voluntarily or not, but it gives Dustin the opportunity to come by, and the 51 of Sexton is doing the same thing. Back live again, and it shows that Tarasenko has dropped back to 3rd position. Not sure if going wide there was a problem with the tires or losing a little bit of grip there, but he seems to be dropping back a little bit, and Tanner Marr is smelling his opportunities. So Mumberget and Sexton are now in the lead. Joshua hanging there with the 16 car. Tarasenko still holding on to 3rd. It looks like he's recovering a little bit again. Tanner Marr in 4th position with Kevin Roy in the 89 right behind him. And then Russell Brown in 6th position. Chris Northington holding on to 7th at this point. And then there's a bit of a gap towards Scotty Stevens. So let's take a look at Tyler Johnson, who has worked his way to 10th position since that restart, but kind of stuck there now. And then it's Mark Young in the 55 car. Mark looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the right front. He may have scraped the wall at some point. Yvonne Wall in the 91 car. He is in 12th, and Lauren Arfman, he is in the 13th position in the number 72 car. Let's go back to your leader, and that is what the 2nd place car looks like. Joshua Sexton in that 51, following closely right behind Dustin Mumberget. And Tarasenko is recovering from his earlier problem. It looks like he is gaining back a little bit on Sexton and has pulled away from Tanner Marr in 4th position. Tanner now dealing with Kevin Roy on his back end there. Kevin, on his turn, dealing with Russell Brown in the 0-0 car. Ooh, and we missed the pass for the lead here. Let's bring that back. Here we go, coming off the backstretch. Or are we coming on? No, we're coming on to the main straightaway, and it is the 51 of Joshua Sexton coming underneath Dustin Mumberget and picks up the lead, and I will say he makes it look fairly easy. So as we go back to live racing, the 51 is now obviously pulling away from Mumberget, and Mumberget is being passed here by Jason Tarasenko. This is wild stuff here tonight at Richmond, Virginia. It's definitely not as easy for Mumberget as it was the first time around. He might be struggling with the setup on his car a little bit. As soon as those tires are wearing off, obviously the handling of the car will change a little bit, and you know, that is the part where setups are extremely important to get it right for the entire race and not just for a few laps. And it looks like Dustin is recovering a little bit again. He is not allowing Tanner Marr to get any closer, and he is staying with Tarasenko there pretty good. So here in Richmond, Virginia, we now have an American driver in the lead in front of the 2 Canadian championship favorites. Then it's Tanner Marr in 4th, And Tanner has the 89 of Kevin Roy right behind him, and Russell Brown in the 00. And it looks like Tarasenko and Mumberget are also a little bit apart right now. The difference is about 0.3 of a second, which is not much, but still, it is just not as close as we saw last 3 races. And that might be that this is the kind of track that that not every driver appreciates as much as the shorter tracks. We're running these super late model cars on short tracks most of the season. As said, this is probably one of the bigger tracks that we run on. And although I heard Tarasenko say last time on what was it, Oxford, I believe it was, that was a very short track that he didn't care for all that much. And to be honest with you, I like these bigger tracks a little bit better too, because at least you get to have a little bit of a straight, and you get to have a run on somebody if you do it well coming off the turn. So I think it makes for better racing if there's at least somewhat of a straightaway on these tracks. It looks like the top 3 are closing in on each other. Joshua Sexton seems to be losing a little bit of ground on Tarasenko, and Mumberget is staying with him there very nicely. So there you have your top 3 drivers right there in one shot. And it's definitely going to heat up. We're only on lap 48. Ooh, we saw Tanner Marr there have a little bit of a wiggle coming off the turn. It doesn't hurt him all that much. He is still ahead of Kevin Roy and Russell Brown. And let's see if we can get a bit of an overview. We see 2 groups of 3 cars. The first group is Sexton, Tarasenko, and Mumberget, and then it's Marr, Roy, and Brown in a group of 3. And then further back we see Chris Northington. Ooh, he's washing up really, really high. He's getting passed by Brandon Mettler there. Then we see Scotty Stevens, Tyler Johnson, Mark Young, Ivan Wall. He's hanging on to the 55 fairly good, and the 72 of Lauren Arfman. Let's bring her back up to speed here at the top of the field. Joshua Sexton and Dustin Mumberget. Oh, it looks like Dustin Mumberget has taken away Tarasenko's second place as we were going through the field there. Still all 3 of them fairly close together. Oh, and the 51 going wide. Coming on to the backstretch, it is Mumberget that gets back into the lead, and Tarasenko closing in on that 51 as well as he runs wide again. That higher line just doesn't seem to work, folks. It's the lower line where you need to be able to keep that car, and Sexton just kind of has no defense for Mumberget and Tarasenko as they come up and on the backstretch one more time into 3 and 4. He's hanging with them fairly good, but it looks like Tanner Marr is coming on a little bit stronger now as well. These 2 groups of 3 almost looks like they're getting ready to unite to one group of 6. And that would be cool, obviously. Tarasenko is working hard on the rear end of Mumberget. Lap number 55, we're closing in on the halfway mark. And it looks like we're getting ready to pass a few back markers. That would be Lauren Arfman that we're going to be passing here pretty soon. Lauren takes the lower side, and it looks like he is giving the leaders the room they need. Oh, hopefully that went okay there for Tarasenko. Tarasenko has to take the longer way around. And let's be fair here, you can't blame anybody for being a good sport and trying to get out of the way, even if it doesn't mean that it's perfect for the other guys. You can't expect Lauren Arfman to totally forget about his own race. Jason Tarasenko is now hanging with Mumberget, and it looks like Joshua Sexton has dropped back about 8/10 of a second, having more trouble. Tanner Marr coming underneath. It looks like Sexton may have just asked a little bit too much of those tires. He's trying to pinch that 4 down as much as he can, but not getting dirty in doing so, giving him the room, but not more than he really needs. And once again, we see that higher line just not working. The 4 of Tanner Marr going past him and bringing that 89 right along. As long as you're on that low side, you can just keep going and put your foot in it. That higher line just doesn't seem to work. So Joshua Sexton drops down from 3rd to 5th here. Russell Brown getting close, excuse me, on him as well. And meanwhile up front, it is still Dustin Mumberget and Jason Tarasenko. Tyler Johnson making up a spot here at the cost of Chris Northington. Chris has been struggling since that first restart, really. He started in 4th position, and he is now down 6 positions. He does look like he has a little bit of damage on that right front. That tells me he washed up into the wall at some point. We saw him wash up a little bit earlier. So it looks like Chris is struggling a little bit. Oh, and there we have Jason Tarasenko challenging the number 16 of Mumberget for the lead and taking it away from him on lap 62. Oh, that is the 55 of Mark Young getting in trouble and almost ruining it for the leaders there. Let's bring it back a little bit further and see if we can figure out what is going on with the 55. He just does it all by himself. He gets high into the wall. He steers it back to the wall to avoid the 91 running into him. And then it looks like that car is just crooked. Doesn't want to run in a straight line anymore, so he is having a major trouble getting it in the right direction. Ooh. Yeah, it looks like that car is bent up. I hope for his sake that he still has that fast repair. And it looks like we see everybody going in. And obviously we're going to watch for those guys and see if they're looking for tires. Tarasenko leading Mumberget into pit road. Everybody coming in except for Lauren Arfman. He has to wait to the next lap because he was already leapt. It might mean actually that Lauren gets his lap back. Ooh, Mumberget overshoots his pit by just a little bit. Tarasenko taking tires. Mumberget taking tires. Let's go check on Mark Young. I do believe he has taken that fast repair. As far as I can judge from this distance, it does look like he has got that car fixed back up. Arfman getting his lap back. Tarasenko leaving pit road, as is Mumberget, and they're doing so in the same order. Tanner Marr picks up 3rd position, it looks like, with Kevin Roy. So what happened to Joshua Sexton? He is down in 8th position. And obviously we'll wait for Lauren Arfman to come down to pit road as well. Or will he? Car doesn't look bad in this case. The 72 still looks pretty clean. So if Lauren still trusts his tires, he might be doing some good work here. And he's staying out. He is staying out. That means he is picking the lead up. Tarasenko in 2nd and Dustin Mumberget in 3rd. And it looks like Mumberget has scraped the wall or somebody at some point. He does have a little bit of damage right behind that front wheel well on the outside. Kevin Roy and Scotty Stevens in the number 2 car. Tyler Johnson now in 7th position. Sexton in 8th. So Sexton didn't do all that well on pit road. But hey, maybe he's got new tires and maybe he can go back at it again. And there we are, starting to line them up, it looks like. The lights on the pace car will be going out this time by. Lap 67, we are pretty much halfway into this race. And we are getting ready to go back to racing. It is Loren Arfman in the lead, not having pitted where the others have. Ooh, it looks like Arfman is dropping back. Is he being sent back to the end of the longest line? What's going on? It does look like it. And that brings Tarasenko and Dustin where they were. This is kind of odd.
Green, green, green.
Well, we're back to racing. We'll get it sorted out maybe at some point, but Tarasenko is the one that picks up the lead when the green flag drops. It's Momberget in front of Tanner Marr and Kevin Roy. Tyler Johnson being racy. Ooh, 3 wide there, coming down onto the main straightaway. And the number 5 just kind of thinks the better of it, but they were 3 wide coming out of there. It is the 51 of Joshua Sexton having a really good restart, jumping from 7th to 5th at the cost of Scotty Stevens, and Tyler Johnson was almost coming with him there. Meanwhile, it is Tarasenko holding on to that lead in front of Dustin Momberget. Tanner Marr right with him in the number 4 car, Kevin Roy. Joshua Sexton in 5th. And Arfman is still back here. I'm not sure why he dropped back on that restart, but he did. We're just going to have to take that as a given, I suppose. As it is Dustin Momberget challenging that 21 once again. And it looks like Dustin and Jason are pretty much equal in speed here. Tanner Marr is staying with him very nicely. Ooh, Dustin having a bit of a wiggle. And let's ride along with Dustin Momberget, right behind his Canadian countryman Jason Tarasenko. And you can see he has to correct. He's throwing that wheel to the other side coming off the turn. That tells you that the rear end is loose and that when he gets on the gas, he needs to correct it from going around. So Dustin is definitely working that car pretty hard. Getting underneath the yellow line a little bit even. Does better now while coming off the turn. That tells me that Dustin is definitely working that car very, very hard. And I can tell you from experience, coming off those turns with a loose back end is not easy. It is so easy to just overdo it on the gas and throw that back end around. You have to be on the ball. You almost have to be capable of predicting what that car is going to do when you are on the limit like that. You have to have lightning fast responses on that steering wheel. But Dustin is doing a great job, and he's hanging with Tarasenko. Both of these guys doing a great job, like we're getting used to seeing them doing that. First 3 races, they were dominant. And as said, Momberget has got 2 wins, Tarasenko's got 1, so Jason's looking to even that back up again. Lap number 77, and it is Momberget that's trying the outside this time around, maybe going for the over-under here. No, he's going around the outside. That doesn't look like that's going to work for him. And Tarasenko defends on that lower end. And Tanner Marr almost capable of coming with the leader there on the lower side. This is a good battle for the lead. Two Canadians duking it. Oh, that was not good. 16 running into the back of the 21. And that leaves Tanner Marr in the lead because Momberget got off the gas to save that situation. 21 did save it as well. Let's go see from if we can bring that back here real quickly. This is where it's happening, I believe. There, he taps him in the back. The 21 wiggles around, has to take the higher line, but he does save it and keeps it going into the right direction. It is the 4 that picks up the lead. It is the 89 that is now challenging the 21. Let's bring that back as we are already seeing Jason Tarasenko back into the lead. We missed that looking at the replay, so let's bring that back. Oh, it looks like the number 4 has got himself in trouble there. And that allowed Tarasenko to get around him. The 16 is doing the same thing again, coming underneath. Ooh, this is close and hard racing. The 89 almost loses it back there as well. That is Kevin Roy. He's got the 51 of Joshua Sexton to worry about. The 51 coming underneath him now into the first turn. And it looks like Sexton takes that position away from Kevin Roy. Tarasenko still leading. Dustin Momberget in second place. Tanner Marr back in third again. Joshua Sexton now in fourth. This battle is heating up as we're getting closer towards the finish line already. The final third of the race is on its way. I guess you could say that. Ooh, Momberget having another wiggle there. Once again, folks, this is not as easy as it looks. You have to be on your game. Once again, bumper to bumper with the 21.
Caution, yellow flag.
The 51 underneath the 4, but he can't finish that. We are running into a caution. Let's go. Ooh, the 55 is involved in this once again. Let's go see what happens to him. It looks like a fairly similar incident as to what he did before. A little bit high in the turn, comes off the turn too high onto the backstretch, and he pretty much does the exact same thing as he did the first time. Luckily, doesn't slam into the inside wall. The damage on the front end is not that bad. He takes a tow to the pit. Hopefully he can get it to where it's drivable once again. And meanwhile, the field obviously slowing down, and it looks like Mark Young has left the race. That second crash was too much for him. He doesn't see that working anymore. We see some guys going down pit road. If they haven't changed tires already, then they could do so now, obviously. But for the other guys up front, they have already changed those tires. We saw that. So there is no point for them unless they would need the fuel. But I doubt they will need the fuel since that final pit stop that they made on lap 63. They should be good. Northington... yeah, he's getting his left side changed. Maybe he's already done the outside before. Yeah, it looks like it. He's getting that left side changed. Russell Brown is getting tires. 91 can't get tires. And Lauren Arfman is getting tires there as well. So I'm fairly sure that by now everybody is on new rubber, or at least the second set of tires that they were allotted. And it means that tire stops are done. Jason Tarasenko leading the field around. Dustin Momberget behind him. And once again, that little incident between them gave Tanner Marr the upper hand there for a few laps, and then Tanner Marr had his own problems, and it brings Jason Tarasenko and Dustin Momberget right back into the lead. And if this is any indication on how this season is going to go, then we're looking at a battle between Tarasenko and Mumberget pretty much every week, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if that's how it turns out. These guys are very, very good at what they do. As said, I looked up Dustin Mumberget's I rating, and this guy is in the 6,000 I rating. He definitely has a pretty good idea of what he is doing. So I'm not surprised he gets it done and is in the fight for the lead every time, and I expect him to be there pretty much every race. Tanner Marr in the 4 is in 3rd. It's Joshua Sexton in 4th. So Joshua worked his way up since that pit stop where he came back on the restart as 7th, and he is now in 4th. So good job for him. Scotty Stevens in the number 2. Kevin Roy in the number 89. Then it's Brandon Mettler in the 015. And they're getting ready to line them up, I believe. Oh, we're having a single file restart here. I got caught off guard a little bit with that, but Tarasenko gets a good jump on Dustin here. 0.6 of a second right there at the start. Maybe they were all caught a little bit off guard. Tanner Marr in 3rd, Joshua Sexton in 4th. He's got Scotty Stevens that was probably a little bit better awake than everybody else. So Jason Tarasenko, he is in the lead, and Dustin Mumberget is already looking at a deficit of more than half a second. So that's going to take him a little bit to catch back up. But it looks like he's already doing so. He's eaten away from that a little bit. Tarasenko now setting the quickest lap time, 21.26. That is 1/10 of a second quicker than Dustin Mumberget. Dustin here in the 16 car in 2nd place. We see Chris Northington overtaking the 91 of Yvonne Wall. Ooh, Yvonne has a bit of a wiggle. Those tires were changed pretty early in the race, as you may remember, so he might be on rubber that's not as grippy as he would like it to be. And it looks like Lauren Arfman, mixing himself into that battle as well. Chris Northington looked like he had a bit of a moment. Meanwhile, still Tarasenko in the lead, and it actually looks like Dustin cannot keep that same speed up. He is losing ground on Tarasenko. It is now up to 8 or almost 9/10 of a second. As we go into lap 95, Dustin is going to have to think of something. At this point, Jason is walking away with it. Tanner Marr has a similar distance between him and Mumberget, and Tanner has Joshua Sexton to worry about. Scotty Stevens there in the number 2 car, and we see Lauren Arfman going down pit road. That is did something happen to Lauren? No, for some reason he just decides to pull off. Nothing really serious happening, so that is a green flag pit stop. That's going to cost Lauren a lot of time. Obviously, maybe not happy with the handling of the car. Dustin trying to make up for lost ground, but still at about 9/10 of a second from Jason Tarasenko. Tanner Marr a little bit further back from Dustin even. And Joshua Sexton is hanging on to that number 4 rear end fairly good, with Scotty Stevens in the number 2 car following in 5th position. Jason Tarasenko, your leader. The gap between the numbers 1 and 2 is pretty steady. Right around 9/10 of a second. Let's ride along with Dustin one more time and see how that car is handling. that car seems to be handling a little bit better than we saw him work before. Obviously, he's got new tires. And at this point, Dustin is just probably thinking, well, I just need to make sure I keep my speed up and not let that gap get any bigger. Any mistake that Jason makes will bring him closer, obviously. So he can only hope for little mistakes from the number 21 driver. But as we know, neither one of these guys are very big on making mistakes. And the lap times on the last lap were pretty much dead equal, except for 1/100th of a second. You can't blink your eyes that quick, folks. Tanner Marr in third position with Joshua Sexton. He is getting racier, it looks like. Joshua wants that third spot from Tanner Marr. And meanwhile, up front, it does look like Jason Tarasenko is just walking away right now. Ooh, there Tanner Marr has a bit of a moment, brushing that outside wall. Lap 105, folks. We have 21 more laps to go. And a 51 giving it a shot here underneath the 4. Coming onto the backstretch. Can he hold on? Tanner Marr still has it, but the 51 is definitely strong underneath there. Ooh, he's got to get off the gas a little bit there. It looked like he was washing up. Didn't want to run into the 4. Still going at it. Close battle. Oh, just a light touch maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. And a 4 a little bit higher this time around, and that gives the 51 the room he needs and the momentum he needs. And then the 4 is trying to pull that famous over-under, getting it underneath the 51 once again, and picks it back right where he left it. He has even a bit of a wiggle. Ooh, the 2 of Scotty Stevens coming underneath the 51 there, right in the draft of the 4. So once again, Joshua Sexton later in the stint just struggling with that car a little bit more than in the beginning, and it drops him back currently down to 5th position. Let's go check on Jason Tarasenko. 1.2 seconds ahead of his fellow Canadian Dustin Mumbercat in 2nd position. And Dustin has about 3 seconds on the number 4 of Tanner Marr. And Tanner Marr is looking in his rearview mirrors, and look at Joshua Sexton coming back once again. He's not giving up just yet. That car may not be doing exactly what he wants it to, but he's not giving up. He's coming back at the 2 and taking that 4th position back from Scotty Stevens. Scotty going on the low side. Russell Brown catching up with these guys. And let's go further a little bit more. Kevin Roy is in 7th. Tyler Johnson by himself in 8th. Brandon Mettler in 9th. Chris Northington in 10th. Lauren Arfman running 3 laps down. And Yvonne Wall has taken it to the pit lane. Tarasenko still in the lead. 1.6 seconds on Dustin Mumbercat. It looks like Jason is very strong here tonight. And Dustin just really can't do anything other than just go at it as fast as he can, hoping that maybe Jason will scrape a wall somewhere or get underneath that yellow line and make a little mistake. But right now it doesn't look like Jason is making any mistakes. Well, that will make it 2 wins both, and it'll even him up in the standings again. Tanner is holding off Joshua Sexton. The differences between these guys are growing a little bit. Tire wear is playing a part for all of them, I'm sure. Joshua Sexton is recovering, though. He Looked like he was struggling a little bit a few laps ago, but he's bringing it back around. 4th position. Russell Brown has made good work of Scotty Stevens as well. He has picked up 5th position and pushed Scotty back to 6th. And when he passes the line, he'll have 10 more laps to go. Jason Tarasenko in the number 21 car. Almost 2 seconds now on Dustin Mumberget. Tanner Marr in 3rd. Not a threat to Dustin Mumberget anymore, but he has to watch his mirrors and make sure that he keeps Joshua Sexton at bay here, with Russell Brown in 5th position running strong as well. Sexton is 3rd in the championship before we started this race. Tanner Marr is not in the top 5, so Sexton should be able to hang on to 3rd spot. And Russell Brown going underneath the 51 now. Sexton is driving as hard as he can, but it looks like those tires are just giving up a little bit on him. He's trying really hard, but he can't stop Russell Brown from picking up that 4th position. Joshua Sexton now in 5th. Scotty Stevens in 6th. Tyler Johnson in 8th. That is Brandon Mettler behind him. And the 10th place car, the number 1 of Chris Northington, still on the lead lap. So that is pretty good. We have 5 more laps to go, folks. Tarasenko is in a good position, over 2 seconds ahead of Dustin Mumberget. Unless something really awkward happens, I would say this race is fought for these two guys. Tanner Marr still has a charging Russell Brown. Russell Brown hoping to make a late charge here for 3rd position. And it looks like he is gaining on the 4 car and trying to make a move. And he's trying, but he's not there yet. Two laps to go. Can Russell do anything here for 3rd position? They will be getting the white flag next time around. Tarasenko in the lead, Mumberget in 2nd, Tanner Marr still in 3rd, holding off Russell Brown. Russell Brown going into the last lap into turn 1. Can he make that work? Oh, he's underneath there. He's going to pick up 3rd position. Oh, Tanner Marr. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. That is really unfortunate for these guys. Tanner Marr, and meanwhile, we are missing the finish here of Jason Tarasenko. I apologize about that. Tarasenko picks up the win here in Richmond, Virginia. That makes it 2 for him and 2 for Dustin Mumberget. Joshua Sexton is actually the guy that picks up 3rd position with the incident between Tanner Marr, who finishes 4th, and then it is Scotty Stevens in 5th, Kevin Roy, Tyler Johnson. Russell Brown drops to 10th with that incident. We can bring that back really quickly. let's really quickly look at that. It looks like he is passing the four. The four gets loose, gets into each other, and that takes the numbers, the Russell Brown around, and that was all she wrote. Couldn't help that at all, and I honestly don't blame Tanner Marr for that either. He was trying to save it and couldn't, and that is racing, folks. Unfortunately, but that is racing. So let's bring up the results for you really quickly here. There you have it, and we're going to try and find some people to talk to here. And let me see. Joshua, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, you got a little lucky there in third position on that final lap, but you were working at it really hard all race long, sir. I enjoyed watching you very much. It looked like your tires were falling off later in the stints. Did I see that correctly?
Yeah, I'd start to develop a pretty good push in 3 and 4, and there just wasn't much I could do about it.
So talk us through that last lap. Did you see what happened in front of you there?
Yeah, Russell Brown was coming up real quick. He's making a good charge at the end, and Tanner and I had some worn tires, and it looked like Tanner may have gotten a little bit loose off the corner and tapped the wall and got into Russell, and it was just an unfortunate incident.
Absolutely. You got a little lucky there, man. I still, like I said, I still think that was very well deserved. You worked really hard at it. As you said, your tires fell off a little bit in 3 and 4 later in the stint, but it looked to me like you were just not giving up on that position, though.
Yeah, I think we had hopefully we got some good footage for you guys tonight. It was really good racing in the car, so I hope you guys got to see some of that. It was pretty fun.
I was not bored for a second in this race, sir. I can tell you that. All right, Joshua. Thanks very much, man. Once again, a great third place for you. Any love yous and thank yous you want to throw out there?
No, just thank you to Crooked Line Racing. This is just a really great series. I'm thankful to be here and thankful for all the good drivers that are in here. A lot of good people.
Absolutely, sir. And it looks like your third place is going to help you stay in third in the championship as well. So good luck. Good luck next time in Concord, sir.
Thank you.
Dustin, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Dustin, you looked like strong as ever, really throughout the whole race, and then on that final restart, you kind of got. Did you get surprised?
Yeah, Jason got a pretty good jump on the last restart there, and I missed a shift from third to fourth, so that really didn't help me out much. And yeah.
Okay, that explains it then, because at that restart, it looked like you were looking at about a 6 to 7 tenth of a second gap all of a sudden at that restart, and even though you guys matched speeds, even after that, you just didn't seem to recover from that. So you guys were pretty equal, and then after well, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 laps, did you just kind of let it go there and make sure you just brought it home second, or what'd you do?
Uh, Kinda, yeah. Kudos to Jason. He had a really, really good card tonight. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to think big picture. Just it's better to finish second than not finish. Been really busy the last couple weeks with real life racing. It's starting to catch up with me a little bit tonight, but that's no excuse. We'll be back.
Well, it was still a good run, Dustin. Absolutely, it was. So I'm sure it's 2 for 2, two each now after 4 races. It just heats up the championship race between the two of you. It looks like two Canadians here are showing the Americans how it's done.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to represent everyone here so well. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks very much, Dustin. And congratulations once again on a good second place. Anybody you want to thank and throw some love yous out there, go right ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Jason. He had a really good card tonight. Can't thank Ryan Kuhn and Ryan Kuhn Motorsports enough for everything they do. Thomas Axum, Jason Ricker, Dale Shaw, Shaw Motorsports in real life, Paul's Auto Body. Everyone who helps me go left. Can't thank them enough. A lot of fun.
All right, thank you very much, Dustin. Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, sir. Good win. That makes it two each. Kind of in the same order too. It started with Dustin, then you, then Dustin, then you. I was kind of saying that in the beginning. You know, if that's the pattern, then it's your turn tonight, and it was.
I think it came down to a little bit of strategy stuff going there. I don't think Dustin took tires at that one caution, and I know we've had this fuel strategy, tire strategy thing, and I just threw it all out the window here. I didn't have any time to work on setup and stuff like that, so I just said I'm taking all my tires, I'm taking all my fuel, and it's going to play out the way it plays out. And I think if we had another late caution there was guys that were able to take tires. I think they were saving them.
I do believe that Dustin took tires at the same pit stop you did, though.
Yeah, I may have. I didn't see his car jack up, so I'm not sure. So I was actually in the beginning just trying to pace the car to save fuel, and then realized there's absolutely no way. We pretty much need a full tank of fuel to make it the rest of the way. So then after that start there, I just tried to maintain about a 1 second gap there because I didn't know if he had tires. I just wasn't sure, so I just tried to maintain a good gap there.
Yeah, yeah, I see. So basically, I was a little surprised that it was a single file restart. Was that taking you by surprise as well? Because I mean, I saw no reason for that.
Well, I never pay attention to that kind of stuff, but there is, I think the way the league has it set up is if there's three yellows, then the next one is automatically at single file, and it's to help promote, less cautions and single file it out when there's already been three. So that's just the way it worked. But I've never paid attention to it, so I don't know until there's one to go, and then it's like, oh yeah, it is single file. It didn't make a difference to me anyways, because being in the lead, it was like I was able to control the start anyways.
That's true, absolutely. It just seems to me that if it's single file, that kind of goes to the advantage of the leader who can control that start, because the other guy's not alongside, but already is behind you anyway. So it makes it a little easier to get a gap going, and that kind of turned out the way it was. It looked like Dustin missed a shift there and got stuck on 6/10 of a second early on in that stint, and never really recovered from that, and then kind of just thought big picture second place is good enough, and then it kind of allowed you to walk away there. It was a very strong run, Jason. You guys battled very hard in the beginning. There was actually a touch between the two of you, nose to tail, I believe. Oh, when was it? Lap 70 or 80 or somewhere there? I don't remember exactly when it was. What happened there? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was just one of those. It's part of the problem when you're not going all out every lap. When you're thinking about fuel, when you're thinking about strategy, it's like, a few times I let him go, he let me go. We were trying to, nobody wanted to be the leader to control the pace and burn up their tires. So, I was trying to control the pace there to not. If I thought he was on old tires, and so I didn't want him pushing me to burn mine off. So it was just strategy, and that's what happens when you get a little bit unexpected of what the driver's going to do because we're not going all out every lap. So it was just a racing deal. That's all it was. It was no big deal. It actually, if anything, it allowed me to drop back and save more fuel, tire, that whole type of deal. So.
Yeah, and it looked like Tanner Marr was taking advantage of that, but that didn't last all that long either. When he got in trouble himself, it brought it right back to you and Dustin at the front there once again. Man, good thinking on your part. I like how you explain that strategy stuff to me because I'm not much of an oval driver myself. For me, it's just go as fast as I can all the time. I read in a book once written by Nicky Lauda. I don't know if you know who that is, but the only strategy in racing that he ever had was just go fast enough to win. So if you're not in front, that's kind of the way how I drive.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, it's just with this fuel strategy thing and then now with one tire set, it throws strategy completely into it. So you got to be thinking about it. There's a lot more to oval race than just going hard and turning left like a lot of people think. So that's why I like it. It's a lot of fun. And, I'm glad that we're able to come out and run with this league.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. It's not as easy as it looks. I totally agree with you there. All right, Jason. Once again, congratulations. It evens the championship right back up as we had it the one race before. Any love yous and thank yous you want to throw out there before I let you go, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely to Dustin. He's a good race competitor. I love racing with him. His guys there over at Ryan Kuhn Motorsports do a phenomenal job of putting their setups together. I got to thank our team, Dynamic Autosports. I'm the only guy doing super late models from here, but I still have a blast with it. Midwest Power Source, Harding Motorsports. Shout out to Russell Brown. I don't know where he ended up tonight, but he's a co-teammate type of thing and for the Alliance. And I just hope everybody had fun tonight. And thank you and the league for sure.
Thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, folks, you heard from the top three finishers there. Joshua Sexton got a little bit lucky on that last lap when Russell Brown and Tanner Marr had their little incident there. That's just part of racing, folks. It's all part of the deal. We heard from Dustin Mumberget, who feels that he maybe was a little short on time preparing for this race, but in the end, he came on strong second there, saving his car when he realized that Jason was just a little bit too quick there at the end. Jason explaining us a little bit about strategy and how he's thinking about fuel and tires in a race like this. And I totally agree with him. There is a lot more to it than just going round in circles as fast as you can. First of all, going as fast as you can is not an easy feat whatsoever. You need to be able to set up your car in a way that it works for you, and you have to be able to set up your car in a way that it works for you all race, and in a way that you can do what Jason explained to run different strategies and different paces without getting in trouble and making mistakes and stuff like that. So once again, I always enjoy talking to these guys and explaining me a little bit more about that. I am not a much of an oval racer myself. I'm not fast enough to be thinking strategy. I just got to go as fast as I can and hope for the best. But guys like Jason Tarasenko and Dustin Mumberget obviously have a much more sophisticated approach to this thing as some of the other guys, and me included, obviously. So that was interesting to hear, and we congratulate these guys for their finishes. Jason Tarasenko for the win, Dustin Mumberget for second, and Joshua Sexton for third. And further down the line, we see Russell Brown still ending up in 10th position. Obviously disappointing for him. Mark Young was the only driver that did not roll his car across the finish line, even while 20 laps down. He was obviously struggling a little bit, had to take tires very early on, and maybe not aware of the fact that he only had two sets to play with, and at the end he probably didn't have much left on the underneath that car. That's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you have to learn this stuff the hard way. Crooked Line Racing Monday Night Madness. The race in Richmond, Virginia is over. We are going to go to Concord Speedway next time, another short oval where the battle for the championship will heat up once again as Tarasenko and Mumberget are even once more for the second time already after four races. So we hope to see you there, folks. Come and join us again to see the remainder and the next episode in a epic Canadian driver battle at the top of the chart here. I find that always very interesting. Obviously, we think of oval racing as a very American, United States of America kind of thing, but our northern neighbors are doing the same stuff over there, and they're pretty good at it, as we can tell. So once again, folks, join us next week for Concord Speedway, round number 5 of the Crooked Line Racing Monday Night Madness series in the super late models. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. See you next week. Stay healthy and be kind to one another.